Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Urban Connection. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, et Messieurs, soyez les bienvenus sur la nouvelle édition de la Connexion urbaine. Nous sommes ici dans l'enceinte des Nations Unies à Vienne en Autriche, dans le cadre de la deuxième édition de la conférence des jeunes organisée par VAS et ADYFE.
My name is Mohamed Alaswani. I'm originally from Morocco. I'm based in Cyprus for the last 10-11 years. I do work as business analyst, but at the youth work, I'm the president of the African Diaspora Youth Network in Europe since April 2013. I had the chance to be one of the founders of ADYFE. ADYFE is a story that started in 2009, and I think it remains one of the unique and the beautiful stories of the youth with different backgrounds living in Europe.
What do you think about the
Hi, my name is Mona Mohamed. I'm a British Somali, currently living in Somalia. I work for the federal government of Somalia, particularly the Office of the Prime Minister, and I'm currently here taking part in the ADYFE conference.
So my name is Raga Hamid. I am the spokesperson of the African Diaspora Youth Network in Europe. I'm originally from Sudan, but I live in London. And I'm here to participate in this African Diaspora Youth Forum, to see the youth, what are they saying? What do I need to say out there when I'm out there in front of the decision makers and the policy makers? So.
As well, my name is Yusuf Simbo Jakite. I'm from Mali originally, living in Austria. And I am the president of the African Student Association in Vienna, and also the founder of the project we call African Diaspora Youth Forum in Europe.
Okay, hi, my name is Joy Mamike Oche, and I'm Nigerian. I came from Abuja. I'm an environmental engineer by training. I schooled in the UK.
And Shoya, and my name is Ali Hanaf. I'm from Somalia, but currently lives in Ireland. And I graduated as social science, a community development worker. I'm a social activist at the moment in Ireland, and I'm representing an UDIC association. It's an Somali African association, and for immigrants, for youth immigrants especially.
Yes, I'm Eli Pierre Kanda Mukuna. I'm originally coming from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm living in the Netherlands. I'm a representative of ADYFE in Netherlands, African Diaspora Youth Network in Europe, Netherlands Extension. So I'm here to participate at GA, a General Assembly of ADYFE Europe, because I'm running for the presidency, for change, of course, because we need to have a coherent idea. And African people have to come together in order to think on on issues that we are facing in Africa, in Europe, and also in the Mediterranean Sea.
Okay, my name is Karim Safi. I am from Belgium. This is where I live, actually. I was born and raised in France, and I'm from Tunisian heritage. And I'm here in my capacity of board member of ADYFE. I'm in charge of external affairs, and I also train for some of the sessions here, and I help to coordinate and organize the whole event. So this three-activity forum that is called ADYFE, African Diaspora Youth Forum in Europe, begins by a training, is followed by a conference, and has as a side event a General Assembly.
Well, what I can tell you about the story is the fact that ADYFE was created because of the passion of some very active individuals, that they have managed to spread the vision of bringing the African youth around Europe together and create a network, at the same time be a bridge between Europe and Africa. This story started in Portugal in 2009. It followed up by another meeting in Cape Verde, then in Spain, then in Portugal, then in Tunisia, in Kenya, and that's how ADYFE became ADYFE of today.
I've been working with ADYFE, volunteering actually, since 2011. So I've attended many of their workshops as a participant and later on as a facilitator. And today I'm here as a panelist, where I think for me ADYFE is a very special institution because it brings together Africans who are also of European, who live within European countries but have a connection to a host country. So it's a really fascinating forum that enables an exchange of ideas, an exchange of passion, and exchange also to motivate each other. And in fact, actually is one of my biggest motivators to help me make that transition from somebody who lives in Europe to then go back to Africa and find how I can contribute as a European to a country that I was born in.
I think all of us are out there, but we just don't know it. Whenever I work in communications, other people have different jobs, and in our jobs we meet decision makers, we meet policy makers, we meet people who are influencers. And I think sometimes the best way to actually influence them is engaging in conversation. So I think most people think you have to have a formal position or formal, like, sort of rank somewhere to be able to influence opinion. You don't. You just have to go meet people, speak to them, let them know about your cause without even making it forceful. So
I got to know about the program online, and at the moment I've just started an after-school talent development initiative, so for 5 to 18 years old, to help them develop themselves, discover themselves, to develop their talents, and also help to launch them out. I'm here, and it's been a very, very rewarding experience for me. While I was studying in the UK, I started the Association of Nigerian Students in Newcastle University, and it was a very great opportunity for me to help other Africans, other Nigerians to network with themselves and also build, communication networks and all of that.
VAS is an African Student Association in Vienna, which is trying to gather all the African students in Austria together. And basically we are focusing on the capacity buildings and lobbying, and also we have some solidarities project among our association.
Okay, hello. My name is Amira. I'm half Egyptian, half Austrian, and I'm studying law here in Vienna.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Sama. I was born here in Vienna, but my parents are from Egypt. And yeah, I'm studying media and communication studies at the University of Vienna.
Thank you. My name is Dina. I'm Egyptian, but I live in Austria for 14 years, and I'm still in school. That's my last year.
Okay. What motivates you to come to the conference?
We are from the Egyptian Austrian youth here in Austria, and we decided to get here and see new people and get to know other cultures and people, and
yeah, it's generally the topic like African youth and diaspora. It's also something that affects us. Okay, maybe I'm personally just half, so not really African youth and diaspora. I'm born here, but it's still a very interesting topic because you meet so many people here, and so much interesting discussions arise during these workshops and conference. So it's great input.
I think the workshop from today was really interesting, especially the discussion that was at the end of the workshop. But the good thing is that everyone expressed his opinion, but it wasn't an argument. Everyone expects the opinion of the others.
it was amazing actually. I was expecting a level of achievement, but then it was so great, and we extend our what we wanted to achieve actually. It was amazing to see how the connection between the youth participants and the speakers, we saw how much there is a level of exchanging from the both sides, which is very interesting at this point. And I can tell that people are motivated for the objective of our conference, and they go back to their countries and rethink about how they would integrate and get included in the development of their fellow countries. So it's great. I can see that there is a level of exchanging and achieving a level of awareness at least.
Thank you very much. My name is Lawrence Muli. I'm from Kenya.
but I live and work in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. I've been working with the African Union, but now I founded a policy think tank, co-founded a policy think tank called the African Observatory for Policy Practice and Youth Studies. We consult on youth development issues, advise intergovernmental institutions, but I'm also here as a chair of UNESCO's Pan-African Youth Network that promotes a culture of peace in Africa and in the diaspora.
And sure, yeah, and our activities are related with ADYFE. We are a member of ADYFE, and we work with ADYFE as well. We have been a member for some time, and we're looking to energize our expertise and our activities and everything that what is developing African youth and youth in general in Europe as well.
Well, first of all, I have to acknowledge that the problem is unemployment. You know, when you are unemployed, you don't have work, then you don't have finances, you don't have money to fund anything, any idea that we have. And let's say that in general, funds are problems, and ideologically, I think African people in Europe they are facing a very great challenge on not uniting, not having a coherent strategy.
Different ones actually. Some on lobbying and advocacy, others like more into project management. But here we focused on how to reach our decision makers in a common voice, because you have quite great diversity around. We are thinking that we would love to have all those persons that to bring all those things they've learned or experience to their organization from where they come, and to multiply the different skills that they developed, even by discussing with the rest of the group. But at the same time, we would like them to know as much as they could bring to the rest of the people. So I wouldn't assess for a whole group. I hope it was benefiting for everyone. I think they were quite happy with the ending. So.
Well, I currently live in Somalia, so I came from Africa for this particular conference, and there are many ways people can contribute. Whether you do live in a European country, there are institutions that you can support and lobby so that the situation back to wherever your home country is from is improved. The civil society is a very strong forum that can be galvanized to ensure that also there is some connectivity to your home country and your host country. And somebody like myself, I work within an institution within this country, and also it's important that the perspective is two-way, i.e., as a Somali living in Somalia, but also of British citizenship, that I'm also able to push a particular agenda and ensure that there is also an appreciation of what the host country that you're coming from is looking for, particularly when it comes to funding. So being very aware that you almost have two hats wherever you may be if you're in your home.
I am a trainer, yes, mainly in communications for development and how the youth could sort of leverage communication, especially with the advent of social media, towards the causes that would help the development of Africa, Europe, and the world. So yes.
And was this your workshop about this today?
So our workshop was more about lobbying and advocacy, and how the youth could use whatever they have to lobby development partners and governments to sort of support their causes. And what we decided to do in the training is sort of let them freely do what they think is the best way. And it got chaotic, but I mean the world of politics is quite chaotic. The world of development can be chaotic. So it was a sort of an on-hand experience, and then we explained to them that as a lobbyist you need to be prepared for whatever, and be able to listen not only to other people but to the people you're working with who share the same vision and are on the same mission.
For me, I would say I'm not going to wait for government. That's what everybody has been singing. That has been the catchword for me. Entrepreneurship. This is like a social enterprise. So I'm trying to give back. I have a day job. I have a regular day job because I need money. I don't have any source of funding yet, which is a key important thing to consider, because if you have an idea, you need to start. And if you need to start, you need something to be on ground. So for me, I believe also the culture. It's kind of new for us, Most schools back in Nigeria are currently doing after-school programs, but they don't really give you value for money. So they leave the children to watch TV all day while their parents are at work, while the children are waiting. But we have a unique selling point because we're going to correct all of that. We're going to keep children busy, engaged. We're going to help them learn about emerging topics like climate change. They need to measure up with their global counterparts. They need to learn another language, foreign language. They need to develop skills. They need to learn to, work in peace with other people. So we're doing a lot of things. We're doing a lot of things that are basically built on sustainable development. So we're dealing with the social part, the economic part, and the environmental part. So for me, I don't see any challenges that are too big that we can't. I don't like to see the negatives. I would rather just go for it and,
And sure, and life is full of challenges, and we have challenges, especially the immigrant youth are full of challenges, and cultural challenges, environmental challenges, language barriers, and we have so much challenges, and there are positive challenges most of the time, and we can benefit from them. And at the moment, we're trying to synergize and exchange our best practices, our counterparts from the EU countries. And the challenges mostly we face is because immigrant and youth and African youth who arrived in Europe for the last couple of years and so to speak, and had huge challenges in terms of the language barrier, because you cannot integrate with the society unless you speak the language, unless you understand the hosting society.
The next step is it is the most tricky part. When you do a conference, the main problem of the conference is the fact that sometimes it's not followed by consequences. After discussion needs to come implementation of recommendations, but that before it has to be taken into consideration. And this is why our group is not only people that speaks and answers to interview, even though it's a necessary evil, because we have to showcase and actually present to people what we're doing. But we have hard workers that are here to deliver whatever they discussed about and whatever has been brought by the whole group out there.
The challenges, to be honest, are many. I mean, I'm from London, which is really cosmopolitan. So from a personal perspective, I haven't really experienced much racism or discrimination. I've been very fortunate, I guess. But in the wider European context, there are many issues of institutionalized racism. There is the fact that, unemployment hits mostly those of sort of minority background, and then opportunities also again are not spread out equally. Education also, they are amongst the most or don't necessarily have the right education opportunities. So therefore, you find that these communities, these African communities, tend to be institutionally marginalized across sort of the key sectors, and that's problematic because they are stakeholders and they must be seen as stakeholders. And I sort of usually refer to the phrase that says, the proverb that says, an empty mind is the devil's playground. So at the end of the day, we need to make sure that you are constantly engaging a cross-section of the entire community, because it's within our vibrancy and in our diversity where our strength lies.
I think at first they were a little bit surprised, why is all this going on, and a bit of power struggle between them. But I think by the end of it, they understood that actually, we get it, and I hope they enjoyed it because it was fun for us to work with. So the panel I was moderating was about diaspora entrepreneurship and how that can contribute to development. I had some great panelists, and basically, it's no longer a question if diaspora youth and diaspora entrepreneurship can contribute back to the continent. But my main sort of goal from the panel was to see how our stakeholders, such as the Austrian government and the African Union, we had the Minister of Youth from Congo present, and we had an MP from Austria present, how they can sort of help us give back to development, because it has to be a two-way process. So, yeah.
Integration means you have to understand the culture, you have to speak the language in order to understand how they think and how you could slip yourself within their system, and to show your skills that you have, and even to move further and to catch up some opportunities that are given.
My name is Kiza Magendane. I am from the Netherlands, but originally from Congo. I study political science, and at this moment I am a writer, a publisher in Dutch, and a Dutch opinion maker concerning different subjects that are facing the society. And I am the ambassador of the African Renaissance in the Netherlands. And it is a mindset, an Afropolitan mindset about young, brilliant people like me. I've seen a lot of them at this conference. We believe that Africa is the future, and we think that we have a lot of potential.
So I think what a lot of people think is conferences like this, they happen, the same rhetoric is said, the same sort of outcome is just people talk, they meet each other, and that's the end of it. Networking is great. You meet people that will help you down the line achieve results. But I think the recommendations that will come out of it should be moved on up, down the scale to the decision makers. And this is what we do in the African Diaspora Youth Network, is we try our best to get recommendations from the African diaspora youth and even youth from everywhere to try and pass it on down the chain so they can see that we have opinions that might be creative and could be very, very good for policy generally, be it migration or any other sector. So hopefully the final recommendations will be great.
We have a program we call Weekend Training, which means if we feel that we need a topic to talk about, we used to organize it and to call for the professional trainers and go through it together. And this year we organized a youth mobility project founded by the Erasmus Plus. We call Training the Trainers, which was a successful project for not only for our members, also for all the European youth in general.
I see. Okay, thank you.
At this moment, I think one of the most important challenges about citizenship. A lot of African young people, they live in Europe, they integrate, they have a good education, but at the same time, there is some kind of limits that they are not being seen as Austrian or German or Dutch. So I think this is one of the challenges we have to answer, but at the same time, for us African young people, we have to think about our roots. So we have this hybrid identity, and it is within this hybrid identity that we created this Afropolitan mindset, actually, saying that we are not limited by borders.
It's an individual responsibility. As a European citizen, I have to feel comfortable enough to say that I disagree with this policy or I agree with this policy. The second is we need to have the institutional space for that to happen, within our national councils, maybe, within your government institutions like national, or local or national even, like these sort of like European or subnational or sub-regional rather entities that also entertain these ideas. So the point I'm trying to make is, definitely there's an individual responsibility there, but also there's an institutional responsibility where governments have to understand it's a priority, because the more you don't necessarily engage people in the right way, you must know that they're being engaged in the wrong way.
Yeah, as an ambassador of what I said, African Renaissance, what I do is representing role models. For instance, last year I presented the 5 most influential African young people in the Netherlands. So in that case, I met other African young people to see their role models and to know, oh, we can also make it. At the same time, I organize the Afropolitan dinner every month, where people come together and they discuss issues that concern them, also connecting them with Africa. And I think also awareness. I publish in a newspaper, I blog. So I think in this perspective, I make people aware of a young, vibrant, dynamic generation of Africans who are prepared to make the best of their lives.
Merci, Monsieur le Ministre, de l'occasion que vous nous accordez. Vous avez assisté à la manifestation organisée par VAS et ADYFE. Quelles sont vos impressions?
Mes impressions sont très bonnes, je suis très heureux. Vous savez que c'est toujours un plaisir pour moi quand je suis en face de la jeunesse africaine. C'est une jeunesse qui n'arrête pas de nous convaincre de ce qu'elle a du potentiel et que les dirigeants pouvaient continuer à compter sur elle parce qu'elle développe des approches novatrices qui concourent au développement du continent. Des autres, ce n'est que lorsqu'ils auront compris que nous avons la même histoire, les mêmes problèmes, les mêmes motivations, le même engagement qu'ils pourront unir leurs efforts pour le développement du continent. Je suis heureux et je voudrais encore une fois témoigner toute ma reconnaissance à ces jeunes, à ADYFE, à l'organisation VAS pour tout le travail qu'ils sont en train de faire, de fédérer les jeunesses africaines et d'enrichir par leur engagement la lutte que mènent les dirigeants africains pour le développement et la reconnaissance du continent.
I think that makes you feel accepted, and when you're accepted, you're more open to the others and you're more open to integrate to the society. But when you feel that someone wants to change you and to really push on you and don't accept the fact that you're a bit different and want to push you to be exactly like them, you might bring like your defense. No, maybe like I would like to integrate more, and I think this is a big problem, and we should try to be more open to discuss and to learn others and to accept our differences.
Bonjour, donc je suis Léonidas Motom, membre de la délégation congolaise du Conseil national de la jeunesse. Je veux ici féliciter d'abord le ministre de la jeunesse congolaise, M. Kouliné Makosso, qui nous a permis d'être présents à ce forum, mais aussi encourager, féliciter les organisateurs de ce forum qui nous ont permis justement de parler ensemble du rôle que les jeunes de la diaspora peuvent jouer dans le cadre du développement économique, politique ou socio-culturel de leurs pays différents. Je pense justement que ce genre de moments ou ce genre d'occasions sont très importantes pour nous, les jeunes de la diaspora, pour faire de telle sorte que nous puissions être une force secondaire, en plus de ce que les autres font déjà au pays. Il est important qu'on se voie de temps en temps, qu'on converge nos forces pour justement être utile au développement de nos pays. Encore une fois de plus, je veux saluer, encourager nos amis de l'Autriche qui ont bien voulu organiser ce projet et je leur dis vivement à l'année prochaine. Merci.
I'm from Austria. I was born in Austria. And then it's, no, but where are you from? And I'm like, Vienna. I'm from Vienna, 10th district. And you're like, where are your parents from? And I'm like, well, my dad has been here for freaking 40 years. So, you know, that's my point of view. Yeah. So this is the point where somehow you just start thinking, okay, is this the place where I gotta be? And this is where I think we gotta stick together, and we have a lot of problems in our home continent in Africa. And what you said, brother, is like, this is a testimony for what happened in Sudan and South Sudan. You know, Western influenced them a lot. It's a matter of resources as well, but also we have many problems in Africa, you know, communities clashing and all of that stuff. It somehow seems to me that we don't try to find similarities, but we try to find differences. So not only here, but also, like, I'm from Egypt, you know, we're cracking our heads right now in Egypt just because you're from a different political opinion. We have that everywhere in the world, and this is sometimes where you stand there not really knowing what to do, because in your country where you live, you're not like, okay, I can do whatever I want, people won't accept me. Then looking back in Africa and you see Mama Africa, this is where things are good, but then you have, you know, people killing each other and all of that stuff. This is where I get lost, honestly. This is where I lose hope. I know I might sound a bit pessimistic right now, maybe way too pessimistic, but it's just, it's reality right now. Like, looking into whether you want to have a look at Europe or at Africa, we kill each other right now, you know, often for no reason or because we were brought up like this. So I realized getting into touch with people from other countries whom I was raised to think of as enemies changed my perceptions, broke my stereotypes, and this is why I think that this is the only right way that we can actually find a way together instead of bashing our heads, be it in Europe or in Africa. I'm sorry that
If you could describe the experience here, the event, in 3 words.
And communication, networking, positive change.
Okay, super. Thank you very much.
Thank you for following our program. Next time will be about the training and workshops. Bye-bye.